All right. Hello, guys. We're back with another review. Um, Again, we've done these already, so this will look like a review, but I want us to go back if you still are a little bit confused about the topic. So, on this one, we're going to be, sorry about that, we're going to be identifying common factors and common multiples. Okay, that'll be our objective that we had that day. And let's go through some of these examples, just so we can get a better understanding. Okay, guys, so let's look at the first example, number 10. And what they're asking us is just to find the expressions. Remember, an expression doesn't require an equal sign. So if you wrote 1 plus 2, just like that, is an expression. But if you add the equal sign and then the answer, that's an equation. Okay, it's just a quick refresher. So going back to our example here, what gives you when you multiply gives you 10 is basically what they're asking. So think about that. You can multiply 10 times 1, and I know some students I saw, oh, well, what about 1 times 10? Yeah, it's the same one, it's just flipped. That's what we call the commutative property. Commutative property just tells us that if we can multiply or add a number in any order, and it's still going to give us that answer. So going back to our 1 plus 2 example, if I did 2 plus 1, it's still going to give us 3. Okay, and that's the same with multiplication. 2 times 1 gives us 2, and 1 times 2 also gives us 2. Okay, so that's the commutative property. And we were talking about that that day that we looked at this lesson. But 10 times 1 gives us 10, and then another set of numbers that gives us 10 is 5 times 2. So notice how you have two different set of numbers. Now let me say that one more time. There's two different set of numbers that will give you 10. Okay, now let's do this one together. I know that 14, the easy one is 14 times 1, because any number multiplied by 1 gives you that number. So that's easy. But what other two numbers gives you 17 or 14, sorry. That'll be 7 times 2. Okay? So, looking at these two numbers, we also have two sets of numbers, okay? To get 14, okay? And then for 12, we have 12 times 1 gives us 12, and then we'll have 3 times 4 gives us 12, but then we also have 6 times 2. Okay, again, the bigger this numbers get, usually you might see more sets of numbers, but this is what we do when we want to find our prime factors too. Okay, now going back to this number 13, this is a hard one because you think 13 times 1, and then you think, well, what other two numbers gives me 13? Well, there isn't any, okay? And then the same for 17 goes for 17. There's also no other set of numbers other than that number. So 13 times 1 and 17 times 1. There's no other set of numbers that will give you 13, okay? Now, you could do decimals. You're right if you're thinking decimals, but those aren't whole numbers, okay? And we're looking for whole numbers. Now, numbers like this are prime numbers, okay? So that's what our lesson was focusing on that day. So let's go ahead and keep going. Okay, so this is one part that I want to make sure that we understand. When we do our prime factorization, again, this is all in Spanish, but well, the worksheet or notes, it's in Spanish, but just remember the keywords. So prime factorization. So we have this example here. It says 30, and we're trying to figure out what numbers make up this 30. So kind of what we were looking at before, what expressions gives us 30. So I don't want to do 30 times 1 because it's just going to have to split into 2 again, right? So how about I do 2 times 15. Okay. And then what two numbers when I multiply? Well, I look at these two numbers and I think, is 2 a prime number? And it is. So no other two sets of numbers will give me 2. So 2 times 1 gives me 2, but that's it. No other numbers give me 2. Now our notes had a little line here. And you can put the 2 right there just so you can have them all lined up. But it's not required as long as you circle it. And actually, I think it confuses us a little bit because we've been using our circles to identify the prime numbers. So 15 times, or what two numbers give us 15? I would say 5 and 3. Again, both of these numbers are prime numbers. Now, I wish I could tell you there's a trick to remember these, like prime numbers, but it's one of those things that you really kind of just have to remember, right? So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, those numbers. And I've had students, oh, those are odd numbers. Yeah, for the exception of 2, those are prime, or they are odd numbers, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and, let me see. I'm going to let you do this example. Again, if you had trouble with it, I'm going to go ahead and let you do this example real quick, and then we'll come back and look at our answer. Okay, here we go, guys. So I put 12 times 2 gives me 24. That's correct. And I know 2 is a prime number. 6 times 2 gives me 12. And I know 2 is a prime number here. And then what two numbers give me 6? 3 and 2. Okay. Now what they want us to do is just line up your numbers. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Okay. Now 96. Here's a quick... when we're looking at numbers like this, 96, one of the things that I recommend you do is just look at the ones place. Is it a even number? Is 6 an even number? 2, 4, 6, 8. Your multiples of 2 are going to be your even numbers right there. So 2, 4, 6. Oh, 6 is an even number. So what I can do is go ahead and take 96 and divide it by 2. Okay. Some people may think, oh, that's easy. I just know some multiples of some bigger number, and I'm going to find the answer. Well, in this case, if you're a little bit confused, breaking it down into 2 pieces helps, okay? So let me show you how that works. All right, guys, so let's look at this example. I just kind of moved my work to the side. I want us to look at this example. Hopefully you did it, and then kind of paused it and came back, okay? Now, if you didn't understand, I would recommend going back. There's a couple other examples that we can look at. But let's go ahead and finish this one. So 48 times 2, that's going to give us 96. Again, 2 is a prime number, circle it. What two numbers, when I multiply them, give me 48? Now, I could do some other number, but again, notice I'm just doing 2s. To me, anytime I see a even number in the ones place, I just automatically divide it by 2 all the time. That's how my mind works. I think it's a little bit easier just to break it in halves over and over again. But yeah, if you definitely know the multiple, then yeah, go ahead. Like I said, for me, sometimes I just, that's how I think. So 12 times 2 gives me 24. And then 6 times 2 gives me the 12, so a 2 again here. And then 6, what two numbers give me 6? 2, and then a 3. Okay, again, notice how all of these numbers are prime numbers. This is, again, what we call prime factorization, okay? So how many times do you have a 2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and then finally you have a 3. Okay, and then what we were looking at the bottom of the example over here is that when you have multiple numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We end up putting the 2 as our base, and then our 5 as our exponent, and then just write a 3. So anytime you have multiples of a number, kind of like how you have here, You write that number as your base, and then the 4 would be the number of times it's multiplied. All right. Alrighty, guys, so this will be our last one. This example you will do on your own, and then just come back and check your work. Again, this is just a review. You may have seen it or say, Mr. Knows already know how to do that. Then perfect. This is just a review. So go ahead and pause now, and then come back. Alright, guys, so this is our answer. You could have put this, or you could have written this for 56. And then now again, guys, if you do not have these numbers, okay, if you did not multiply it that way, that's completely fine. Look at your answer, and does it match mine? Because whatever way you picked, or whatever numbers you picked, should give you still the exact same answer as mine. So again, here I did not use just dividing it by halves by 2, or multiplying a number by 2 to get the top number. I actually knew the multiples, so this is one of the cases where if I knew the multiples, I would just shorten it a little bit. And so for 42, it's 2 times 3 times 7. Again, remember putting them in from least to greatest. So that'll be our the end of our notes kind of review for this day. All right.